Hello? And today we're playing Moon Touched. I'll be doing a large portion of the story. So we did Moon Touch number 4 last time. We did a new playthrough of that, so we're gonna go ahead and redo Moon Touch number 5 during the whole ceremony. The drumming grows louder as we approach, and soon I'm led to the edge of the circle. Hundreds of wolves and men watch me keenly in utter silence. Rick Rao gestures me forward, and I approach proudly, ready to take the next step towards my fate. The high sage turns to me, a silver bowl and paw filled with a white paste. Leader of all the peoples of the moon, the Rao acts as the voice of Dirme's will and is charged with overseeing the many rites and celebrations that take place in the Carthros, a seat only a lunar wolf can claim. The title of Rao is bestowed upon the next moon woven to awaken after, or near, the death of the current Rao. Tension hums in the air as we come face to face yet again. There's something behind his eyes as I focus on their depths and emotion I can't understand. Is it anger, respect, sadness? It takes great selfishness to walk the path of the beast, to face the darkness of this world, to face the darkness of this world, and to give yourself in service to the light. The Wow speaks softly, his words meant for me alone. Yet, for many who are called, naivety takes altruism's seat. The naive move through life thinking of themselves in the construct of their lives, expecting the beast to deliver to them the sweetness of their joys and pacification of their fears. Yet the virtuous come, not without fear, but adorned with it. It takes true bravery to stand naked in the night and cast aside your hopes, your desires, for that which lies beyond oneself. To give all that you are to the wolf is not to be done foolishly, not at the behest of selfishness or misguided love. Which will you be, Soren, naive or virtuous? A welling of passion bubbles in my chest, righteous in its resolve. Watch closely, and we will both come to know. To my surprise, Rick Rao smiles with softened eyes. Very well. His gaze spreads out across the gathered as he prepares to address me once again. Moon cold are the white bowls. Cleanse in the Degwin. I anoint thee with the ground ash of the lunar kin. Upon my forehead, a great crescent is drawn, followed by two streaks stemming from my eyes. The bones of holy wolves lay across my skin. Rick Rao steps backwards, leaving me to stand alone, naked in the moon and firelight. People of the Carthros, behold your brother. The white bowls offer their call. Who among you shall stand worthy to claim him as both tribute and guide? Something deep within me begins to stir, as if my taste of knife fire earlier at the sighing stone claws back at me, pulling me down into its power. That which flows through all lungs. that which flows through all things, the vital energy of life itself. As children of the moon, moon-touched and moon-called men seek to consciously enter the unitive state of resonance with Nightfire through sexual euphoria. A grounded evidence within Nightfire is imperative for a successful bestowal, and months of a moon coach training revolves around pleasurable exposure to it. The light of the moon floods into my eyes, where into my open eyes as I burn its sacred sight into my mind. O dear me, be with me through tribute or death. Claim me. The gaze of soundless eyes upon me sends Nighfire's blaze coursing through my blood. My veins rise to be seen, though the air is cold. My muscles tense and hone their strength, though I feel at ease. My thing rises and bears itself erect for all to see, though I have no say in it. The ecstasy of my serial exposure to the night's endless sky, the force of watching men into a dear me himself pulses through my thing as the cold air plays at its wet tip. Somewhere in the gathering, a howl begins. More and more voices join until I find myself within the center of a storm of sound. My brothers honor my eagerness. Or dear me, amidst the howls and sears, a woman with waving hair stretching down past her knees stepped forward, a matriarch of the northern reaches. From the high peaks of frozen flame, the Wankai offer our fiercest warrior, Norakai of the river took Peck as tribute of our people. Let the blood of his hunt deliver you unto the beast. Whispers unite throughout the crowd like a strong breath of smoldering wood. Before me, the weave of men parts, allowing the blackness of the forest to stand bare. From the saddles, a wolf approaches, as if made from the darkness itself. The creature towers over the seated wolves as his strong legs deliver him into the inner circle of the grounds, his nakedness matching my own. I instantly smile as the firelight illuminates his dark features. The memory of his scent flickers alive again in me. Norakai. His matriarch begins. Norakai. His matriarch brings her hand to his chest and offers a word in Norakai. His matriarch brings her hand to his chest and offers words in a tongue that I've never heard before. I watch as he places something in his massive paw. Before retreating from him, the wolf stalks close. Uruk-Rao approaches me with a silver bow and paw. Moon called are the white bowls. You will take and pound the sacred ass of wolves past to anoint those who offer themselves unto you now. My heart lurches in my chest as I prepare myself for what I'm about to do, my mind sifting through the instruction that Talawin gave us by the lake. As my fingers sink into the white liquid, I lock eyes with the beast before me, and dare me give me strength. With my breath held, my hand reaches low until it wraps around the girth of Norakai's sheath. Almost instantly, his heat penetrates through the cool ass and into my palm. Carefully I work the ass into his coarse fur, to the low hum of a growl coming from the wolf. Twice I might to stifle the urge my thing twitches as I draw my fingers through the thick fur wrapping around his groin. I can feel myself leaking as my mind drifts to how the must of his seed would smell. The taste of him in my lungs dances on my memory. With a swift motion, I trail my palm across his balls and back to the tip of his teeth. With his groin coated, I dare not linger. He crouches low, leaning his head down for me. Even then, I have to reach to meet his forehead. I push through the short fur to paint the glory of the full moon above his eyes. Norkai looms, as if the danger of the dark forest itself manifested as a wolf before me. He extends his paw out toward me, unblinkingly, as if unfurls. I catch sight of a single alien seed in the heart of his paw. Look into his searing eyes. A familiar fear rushes through me. When I refuse to entertain, something sings inside me at the chance to be bound to Norkai, as if our meeting earlier was woven into both of our fates. As steadily as I managed, I reached to lift the seed from his paw, just as Talon had instructed me, or had instructed us to do, so we accepted and offered tribute. A few gasps of murmurs. A few gasps and murmurs from the wolves, and the crowd synchronized with Norkai's eyes, spreading even wider. At first I'm concerned at his pause. I know what he should be doing in response to his acceptance, yet he stands unnervingly still, just staring at me. Finally, with a wave of relief down my spine, he opens his mouth wide. I waited the seed in my hand, giving it a roll or two as I harden myself for what I'm about to do. The heat of his breath is hot against my hand, just as I remember it. I reach into his open maw, carefully avoiding the sharp fangs that frame my hand. Finally, with a wave of relief down my spine, he opens his mouth wide. I ready the seed in my hand, giving it a roll or two as I harden myself for what I'm about to do. The heat of his breath is hot against my hand, just as I remembered it. I reach into his open maw, carefully avoiding the sharp fangs that frame my hand. With the seed placed at the center of his tongue, I retract my hand as slowly and as calmly as I'm able to. He swallows it solemnly, not taking his eyes off of mine for a single moment, not even to blink. Talon steps forward, and with a branch of piercingly white leaves, he sanctifies the ground. Between the haunting flame wolf and I, delivering water into the soil. I watch as Norkai sinks his paw deep into the earth, mud flowing out around its umbral form. Another track to follow. The oracle then lifts a silver vessel towards the brilliance of the moon. Once imbued, he pours the blessed water into the imprint of the wolf's paw, filling it to the brim. Norkai leans down over the imprint, dipping a single claw into the water with signs of the pale reflection of the night. His other hand grasps the back of my neck, the force of which pulls me towards him. I opened my mouth as was instructed, tilting my head back, ready to receive. A single drop falls into my tongue. It rolls down inside of me with a chill of ease. He then presses his open palm against me, his spread fingers covering the entirety of my chest. With my heart pounding through my muscle into his warmth, I raise my hand and sink it into the peaks of fur that cleave his chest in two. Our eyes lock together. The saddled wolf releases his weighted grasp and retreats from me as firelight glints across his amber eyes. I can't help but smile once more. It seems our hunts join here. The rickrowel steps forward into the light of the moon once again. Thus does flame take hold. Who now shall rise with the beast of frost as witness? An elderly woman stands slowly with the help of two tighter wolves. Fabrics hang over her shoulders like crashing waves. Even in the dark of night, their rich blue hues sing of the sea. In a voice stronger than I was anticipating, she speaks. Wolves and men who listen to the call of the tides form the Tien clans. They dwell along the eastern shore of the realm, where the drumming song of waves upon rock and shore is ever present. The great medicine men and wolves among them, known as druids, are celebrated for their profound spiritual wisdom and guidance. Delivered from stone roots of old in the depths of the sapphire sea, the Tien of India elevate our finest voice, the great singer of Simvaya's hymn, Warwan Hav. Mathir, with reverence, I wish to offer myself as tribute to this man. The matriarch's voice yields to the wolf who speaks from the darkness. He stands among his people, illuminated by moonlight dancing at his edges. You are certain? He steps forward into the glow of the fire. The wolf unfastens the fine clouds that wrap around his waist, letting them fall to the earth at his feet. I am. The Tien of India, and I, Matriarch Renala, offer unto thee, sower of the white bows, high druid Wythen of the circle of tides. He bends low, touching the ground beneath his matriarch's feet and bringing his hands to his chest. In return, she delicately places her Alarin seed in his open palm. They spend a lingering moment together, her hand resting on the side of his face. May the currents of his wisdom deliver you unto the weeping wolf's lunar domains, where the poor moonlight meets the sea, and the truth of the tides envelop all. Before me stands a wolf of deepening brown, radiant white, and the blue that shines like the shallow seas. His calmness washes over me like a veil of gentle mist, his beauty effulgent. Once again I dip my hand into the fine grit of the ashen paint. Once anointed, I sink into the soft and incredibly dense fur of Wythen's sheath. Unlike with Norakai before him, I take my time to work the pigment into him. The sudden weight of his touch on my hip nearly makes me shiver. When I look to him, he simply smiles with gentle eyes as the warmth of his paw invites me in. The way his thick fur yields to my touch is intoxicating. Each manipulation causing the warm flesh of his hole to slightly open and catch moonlight. I feel my shaft pulse as I notice a clear thread connecting my palm to Wython's red opening. He's enjoying this. Wython lowers his head down to me, though I don't have to reach nearly as high as I did for the wolf before. The river of short blue fur on his forehead parts The river of short blue fur on his forehead parts as I complete his adornment with the full moon. Wython's eyes fall shut as his fist follows to a clench. His alien seed lies buried in his firm grasp, the tendons of his wrist striking out from under his wrapping. A heavy breath escapes from parted lips as he casts his eyes on the moon shining above us. Once he receives what he needs, his paw unfurls before me like a night-blooming flower. The wolf's eyes are soft now, yet they give me pause. With a nod from the wolf, I reach into his palm, claiming his seed. Just as Norakai before him, Wython opens his mouth wide, yet this time there is no fear. Instead, as I reach into his maw, I feel as though I'm slipping into a shallow pool warmed by the coastal sun. He swallows the seed with the elegance of a high druid, an easeful sigh escaping his throat. Talawin sweeps the ground in one large arcing motion, feeling the ground where Norakai's print was made. The white branch wets the earth and Wython sinks his hind paw into its supple structure. The mark he leaves is notably smaller than the wolf's before him, yet its shape is pleasing to see. His pads seem rounder, smoother. Moonlit water is blessed once again and brought to fill the print to his lip. Wython crouches low and wets a claw before raising it above my head. My head leans back as I open myself to him. A single cool drop splashes over my tongue. The water of the beast now flows within me, becoming part of my being. With our bond forged, Wython brings his warm paw to rest on the back of my neck. His eyes fall shut as he lowers his forehead down onto mine. The tip of my nose nestles into the short fur of his snout. We breathe together for some time, sinking deeper into a calm connection, a gentle rain after the heat of Norakai's flames. Wython bows his head low before stepping back to stand beside the much larger Norakai. To my surprise, they share a brief smile together before looking back at me, the first genuine smile I've seen from the flame wolf. With 2 tributes offered and claimed, only one now remains. Uruk Rao takes his place beside me once more and calls out to the people. The tide sing this night, the tribute claimed, or Jimmy looks to you, wolves a storm. Whom shall you offer? The Hersa, a militaristic society steeped in their art of combat, flourished in the rugged grasslands and perilous mountains of the western coast, guided by their chieftains and matriarchs, the storm wolves, direct their might against the darkwood fiends to the north and the hostile human forces across the sea. United in purpose and fierce in spirit, they stand as a bastion of strength against all who threaten the realm. In place of a matriarch, a large Herser Moontutz steps forward. I watch with awe as firelight glance of his aged armor and the many scars that cut through his graying fur. As the black storm rages, so shall we hail the black blade, scourge of the west, bane of darkened fiends, my son Velv, Avenger. By his might, the Herser shall endure. Skull. The people of storms among the crowd echo their chieftain with righteous vigor, their shouts of veneration piercing the night. Beside the chieftain comes a large and formidable wolf, standing stoically amidst the praise. The wolf faces his superior, and the two pound at their chests with balled fists, the sound of the impact reaching even me. Had it not been announced, their wizard and formal demeanor wouldn't have revealed that. Had it not been announced, their wizard and formal demeanor wouldn't have revealed that I was witnessing a father and his son. Once the Elohim seed is placed in his palm, he approaches me like a steady thunderstorm rolling in. His serious demeanor breaks with a confident smile playing at the corners of his muzzle. My hand is hit with a flash of heat as a gold wing piercing his sheath meets my palm. I had expected it to carry the chill for night, but rather is radiating with the warmth of his body. I set myself to task and spread the fine ash atop the dome of his fur. A few rough shouts and playful laughs emanate from the gathered Herser just as I begin to feel a hint of timidity. Velv himself lets out a short chuckle that sets me at ease. Mind the wing, aye, sensitive. A sharp sound of disapproval fires from the lips of the Rao at Velv's interjection, but he continues smiling down at me as I lather him nonetheless. A flash of color greets me as I move towards onto his balls. It seems the warrior is enjoying this as much as I am. Finally, Velv dips his head down to me, allowing me to anoint his brow with a white moon, the last of the white. With his body sanctified, Velv moves in closer than the other wolves came to me. His paw presents his seed sternly in one controlled motion. His confidence almost crackles through the air around him. A sense of eagerness comes over me as I reach into his gray paw to claim his seed. The pads emerging from his fur are rough and hardened, the thick calluses scraping against my knuckles as my fingers curl around the seed. The storm wolves in the gathered shout once more, celebrating his acceptance with a display of loyal brotherhood. His jaw falls open as his teasing eyes invite me in. His fangs are incredibly sharp, and I navigate them carefully. Placing the seed upon his tongue fills me with building excitement. He rolls the seed about his tongue for a moment, keeping his strong eyes fixed on mine before swallowing my offering with conviction. The blessed water pools into it, filling the telluric bowl. Velv kneels low and delivers his claw into the shallow depth. He comes closer, and I ready myself, leaning my head to receive the final blessing from the warrior. He grabs me by the waist. The drop trickles down the back of my throat, filling me with the blessings of all three clans. Vel strikes his chest as he did before with his father, and now, once again, his people chant his praises. Before I can mirror the strike, Vel pulls me into an embrace. Our bodies collide together. My stiff thing pushing into his thighs. He holds me tightly as his people embrace our bonding. Just as I begin to listen to his heart pounding in his chest, the embrace ends and I'm held steady by his large paws. Velv offers a smile before stepping back. At last, all three tributes, Flame, Tide, and Storm, are gathered before me. With each wolf accepted, our fates lie intertwined. Norakai, Wythern, Velv, and I. With your tributes blessed and chosen, the path to Bestow now lies before you. From this moon to the next, you shall learn from these wolves and come to see the world through their eyes, as the Deering longs to do so through yours. Together, you will forge bonds, test the limits of your bodies, and prepare for the trials that the final ritual will demand of you. As the light of the next full moon graces these lands, you shall choose the one who will seed you, tied together in solemn unison. The essence of the beast shall be woven into your flesh, and your soul shall be tested. In this divine covenant, you shall honor Adime through your successful consummation and bestowal, or through the purity of your sacrifice. So I urge you, drink deep of these tributes, your moon-called brothers. Taste of their flesh, drink of their seed, and suffuse your soul within their wisdom. May the fallen three watch over you all. The rite of tributes have concluded. The four of us fall back into the crowd by Talon's guidance. I watch as each tribute returns to the open arms of their people. I take my place among my cold brothers at the innermost edge of the grounds. The Urquell addresses the gathered, issuing rules and warnings to all assembled. No moon called shall not tie a wolf prior to their bestowal. The tributes are bound to the final choice of their moon code, and almost attend the rituals to come. Listen intently, as best I'm able to, with my mind racing across the memory of the ritual. My stuff settles as a rush of energy quells, though I resolve to let myself come later tonight. This day has been torture. My thoughts are pulled back to the center of the grounds as Talwyn steps forward, followed by a number of wolves and humans carrying drums and other instruments. To conclude the rituals of this night and to mark the beginning of the moonfall, we shall recount the hymn of the fallen three, the death of the great spirits, and the origin of us all. A tale I've heard many times from the matriarchs of the White Bowls. I close my eyes, as I've always done when the hymn is recited, and allow my imagination to paint the ancient scenes. Long before the light of life took hold, our world, Ezra, slumbered in idle stasis. There was no dance, no struggle, no joy, no hate, only a hollow serenity untouched by purpose and meaning. Our home, our world. When the sculptor cast his eyes on Ezra, it was but a barren waste of shining crystal. Only after his touch did the great spirits breathe life and light into the soil, giving rise to all that we know and all that we love. Until amidst the vast web of stars until amidst the vast web of stars the sculptor loomed adrift in the endless expanse. It sought the promise of a world to plant its fertile seed, delivering our lands from the cold, dark abyss. From the barren waste, the sacred hands reached forth and drew 7 vintages of the natural order. These fragments were shaped and formed, sculpted into the 7 great spirits, primordial truths, now given form and voice to weave their order into the very fabric of this world. From the primordial bones of the earth, the sculptor forged 7 vessels, each imbued with an aspect of creation: flame, frost, wood, storm, stone, tide, and life. These 7 truths manifested as the great spirits in their will shaped the flow of life in the world for eons. However, harmony among the aspects faded over time, and with it the spirits themselves. First to take shape in elders of the 7, Leonard, keeper of life, was woven from the essence of the sculptor, from the sculptor itself, in the bones of the desolate world, set adrift upon the dusted realms to sink into the earth, patiently waiting her kin. Great spirit of life, Leonard, helped the lovers, Adima and Etir, weave mankind from the threads of the earth, them sacred breath, granting them sacred breath in the light of awareness. It is said that she was the first to perish in the fires of the winning war, her death marking the end of the age of aspects. In her absence, second was given shape, Etir, father of stone, overtaken by elevation, overtaken by elation at his new form, the truth of earth began to leap and bound across the sphere. With each thunderous strike of his hooves, great peaks and valleys were carved into the land. Great spirit of stone, Etir, together with his lover Adima and the great spirit of life, Leonard forged humanity from the fabric of the world. Etir met his end alongside Leonard in the heart of the Carthos, inciting a wrath in his beloved Adima, so intense that it plunged the land into a frozen stasis for millennia. Such was his revelry that his dance broke through the very cell of Etra. From its fiery blood, the sculptor forged Horus, breath of flame, whose new life stemmed the flow of fire and brought a measured rhythm to quell his stone brother. As the brothers worked in tandem to smooth out the great plains and carve the deepest ravines, the sacred hands brought forth Samvaya, bringer of tides. From her mouth poured the great seas and vast oceans, yet soon a great slumber took claim of her, and to the depths of her waters she sank. The world was drowned by the ceaseless torrents spilling forth from the deep, from the sleeping siren. The sirens The world was drowned by the ceaseless torrents spilling forth from the sleeping siren. The spirits of stone and flame unable to rouse her. Seeing this, the sculptor brought forth the brothers of talent and fame. Upon a shaft of chilled light, Arwan, fist of storm, and Adime, beast of frost, pierced the raging seas, an arrow let loose from the sacred hand's bow. As the demon's paw touched the surface, a great expanse of ice seized the raft of waves, affording shelter to his elder brothers. With awesome beating wings, Arwen summoned forth the breath of wind, shattering the crashing tides. The mist gathered, spiraling into a great sphere of water and ice that churned amidst the heavens. It was then that the great beast of frost unleashed the first of his frigid howls, cladding the water in a crust of rime until the white sphere slowly rose to its core. By the might of Aether, a peak highest in the realms, erupted from the clay of the earth, vaulting the sphere into the outer web. Thus the moon was set in its place amidst the light of the stars, the first grace. Then, in the age of tranquil seas, the sculptor set the last energy to form Indiat, youngest of the seven, harbinger of wood. A name given to invoke the energies of the union between Idime, beast of frost, and Aether, father of stone. Through this union, steeped in unbreakable love, that mankind was forged. The lovers, as an archetype, symbolize the intrinsic and sacred union between the beast and man, and are often invoked during ritual acts of sexual bonding and acts of romantic claiming. Upon the arrival of the last of her kin, Leonard rose again. By the joint touch of Eniac and Leonard, life flourished across the solid lands and seas. Countless trees, flowers, and all that is green and good sprang forth. So marked the birth of the Age of Harmony, and in this time, a lasting peace of love was ignited, and the hearts of Idime and Aether, frost and stone, melded together in blissful union. The seed of each flowed through the other, and under the light of the frozen moon, the two spun in endless revelry. Together with their sister Leonard, the three shaped the creatures of the world, honing their craft of creation and ever widening range of intricacy. Twice through the consummation of the lovers that their seed was split upon the soil from which arose the first of mankind, the REDONE. The beings who were crafted from the energies of the world, given form, breath, and life, were once called the REDONE. The age of harmony gave way to the age of REDONE as mankind flourished, spreading across the world like wildfire. Beloved children of the fallen three, or demons, sought to save them from the flames of death and the final hours of the rending war. The great spirits and their lesser kin thrived in a new age of their own making, the age of the REDONE. Great settlements were constructed in reverence for their gods, and harmony flowed through millennia, until in the darkness of night, a dissonant whisper seeped from the very core of Aether beneath their feet. A discordant voice, erupting, corrupting, and vile, its resounding marked the death of harmony, and for the great spirits the beginning of their end. Eniac, harbinger of wood, whose roots pierced deep, was the first to succumb to darkness. Tainted as she was, her words reached Vaya, whose sacred waters course through the many trees and vines now ensnared by Eniac's twisted call. United in aim, they flow westward, joining the peoples who too yielded to the whispers from the depths. The breath of flame and the fist of storm join together to combat their twisted kin, devotion to the sculptor. As the great cities burn, the lovers, joined with Leonard, set in motion a plot to spare their children, the Elowen, from the class of the great spirits as they plunge the world into ruin and ash, placed within hardened seeds. The Elowen were set to rest, deep in the soil surrounding the floating metropolis of Innisfjord, the abode of the lovers. The, the unfathomable eyes of the sculptor shifted away from the world, perhaps disillusioned with its unraveling creation. In the movement to end all movements, the sculptor retracted his craft, seeking to rejoin the clay of flesh to its origins. Yet there were three who hid themselves from this act, clad in the flesh of Elowen, Endearment, Etir. Leonard escaped unnoticed. They watched from their smoldering lands as the sculptor and their reclaimed kin departed into the endless web of stars. Abandoned and bereft of guidance, the three struggled against their tainted creations until at last Innisfjord was taken. Bearing weapons of blackness, the twisted Elowen of the west broke through the last bastion of the great spirits, and Leonard was laid low, the first to fall. Overwhelmed and alone, the lovers fought with all their waning might until at last Etir was finally pierced. As their great domain collapsed to the burning crust of Etir below, and at the sight of his lover's death, Endearment was cast into an all-consuming rage, bringing him to unleash his final howl, locking our world into a tomb of endless ice. As the final note of his cry rang out from beyond his lips, Endearment's soul was cleaved from his body, seized by the hand of the sculptor itself, and banished to the chill of the moon. Condemned for eternity under the weight of his transgressions, the wolf wept as he gazed upon his fallen lover, forever apart from the world he once walked, and the creations he once called kin. My eyes open as Talon concludes the tale of our origins. Once finished, he stands proudly poised between all who watch in the fire at the heart of the clearing. But that is not the end of our history, for we live on, spared from oblivion's embrace by the fallen three. We yet endure. With gratitude in our hearts, we honor their sacrifices. Our revelries in honor of our past shall commence once again at the time of the next sacred rite, the rite of Heritors, which will begin upon Mars Eve, as the first light of the moon graces our skies. The designation Heritor is bestowed upon the first moon-touched wolves to embody a new elemental aspect, fueled by their connection to the aspect. These individuals receive a divine mandate from Endearment. As Heritors, they embrace and guide both humans and wolves who are summoned to assist them on their quest. Thus the 5 clans came into being. Join me in the closing prayer. O silent stars, ye watchers of the boundless dark, mark well our parting words, sealed in fate's unending loop. The roots of the world slumber neath shrouded earth, yet the flames of knowing smolder low. O faded moon, pale prison of he who weeps, do not quiet as we sink below, to let the husk of night lay claim once more. Lo, does he howl as the silver veil is drawn, the husk of night a requiem for fleeting prayer. Given the soil, our light endures. So most it be, the veil-bound dirge, an ancient prayer scribbles wrestled from the crumbled ruins of the REDONE. They come alive again through us. The crowd sits silently for a tranquil moment, the history of the gods still drifting through the air in moonlight. Brothers and sisters, we feast, pray make way to the mid hall. There we will celebrate the weeping wolf with joy in our hearts. With my heart drumming in my chest, after the success of my first rite, I watch as the crowd follows out through the veins of trails connecting the sanctum of the fallen to the rest of Alloran's side. It's not long before I'm swept up by unfamiliar wolves, all joyfully congratulating me on my tributes and ushering me to the next celebration. Ah, once the final tie on my loincloth is secured, I take a long breath. It feels good to be clothed again after having my every lustful impulse on full display. Tonight marks the last night for Moon Call to feast. Once the sun rises, we will begin our fast until the next half moon. While I probably should be taking food, I'm much more intrigued by the sounds of the five clans, intermingled and exuberant as they are tonight. So many colors I've never seen before, so many different cultures playing out in cloth and fur. Small pockets of musicians are scattered throughout the mead hall, or the mid hall. Their sounds soft enough to not drown out the others. Their music joins together in a rhythmic soup of sound. I scan the many faces for Edom, my heart heavy at not sharing these experiences together. Whatever keeps him from me now, I trust he has a reason. I just hope that he's alright. In the moment of solitude, I marvel at the massive soul quest suspended from the web of cordage in the heart of the clearing. Never have I seen one so large, and I make sure to enjoy its warmth. As it sinks into my skin, its gentle glow of captured sunlight bathes us in sifting oranges and golds. I think I'm gonna stop right here. There he is, the man of the night. I'm surprised to find you alone, with your thing practically dripping for all to see earlier. I was expecting a crowd of circling wolves around it, eager to lap it up. Alright, so I'll stop here, and next time we'll see more of Noakai, and then afterwards we'll see the other two wolves. So, um, okay, so we got to see Soren participate in the ceremony. 3 wolves offered themselves to him. He chose all 3 of them. It's their responsibility to guide him on the right path and train him everything there is to know about the life of, serving on DMA and becoming becoming a wolf. And becoming a wolf, and basically that's the gist of it. And then afterwards they'll have sex with him, and one of them anyway, and their seeds will intermingle with his, and he'll become a wolf. Alright, so thank all very much for watching this redone version of episode 5 of Moon Touch. Again, you need to go to playlist, and you can go to the original Moon Touch number 5 I did. What I'm doing here is a redone version of Moon Touch number 5. There's nothing new. It's just me doing that. Redoing that video again, mostly due to the visuals being dark. which I don't like. Like, hopefully I won't have the same problem this time. It's like when I upload to YouTube. Um, Once I upload to YouTube, it gets darker. Like there's shadows and dark shadows, and the characters just look darker than they should be. Like when you're downloading the game and you're playing the story, they're not as dark. But for some reason, when I put on YouTube, they end up getting darker. I don't know if it's because the screen recording software are using or not. But anyway, hopefully it won't be the same problem this time. So I'm gonna continue to redo. Okay, so there's 8 episodes of Moon Tuts I did, 8 videos. I started from the 4th one. This is the 5th one I just finished, so there's 3 more to go. So the next one will be for Norakai, and the 7th